Just waiting. I know it's back to front. It looks weird. Facebook, it's not there. The little wand, the magic wand apparently, the magic wand to flip the screen, which is in every piece of technology, and it's not on iPhone. What the F? So this is part 3. I'm just waiting for a second. I'm just making sure. There's another glitch. I have no idea. I haven't figured it out yet. But the first few seconds, there's crackling in the microphone. If anyone watches this and you have an idea of what the hell's going on, because then it just disappears. And I've got a really fast Wi-Fi. I've got 250. Look, Australia's only just released 250 up to 500 gigs, megabytes. Sorry, 500 megabytes. That's the most that we can get in Australia, and it's only just arrived, right? And for the most part, what have I got? I'm on the 250 at the moment, and it seems to be doing me okay. Well, where did we leave? So anyone that watches this, I'm so glad for some of the people that have watched this and taken an interest and reached out and just had a bit of a chat. So this is really important. It's about my trajectory of how I got to where I am. And the beautiful part to all of this, because, and again, this is this whole basis, this whole community, the people that I work with, they're all coaches, they're all high performers, they're all visionaries, right? And they're stuck in self-doubt, they're stuck in not being able to be visible. They're finding it hard to be seen. They're introverts, apparently. Bloody introverts! I'll tell you something about introverts in a second. The purest essence. So, what I've noticed over the years is that when people go through the story extraction method, and I've done it in all different various types of ways. I've done it in one session, in an hour and a half. Big bang. People get very confronted. When people see the truth, it's very hard to go back. Okay? That's just it. When you have seen the truth, it is very hard to go back. Because the truth brings abundance. And I've done it over 4 weeks, one session a week. I found that was really, really powerful because there's a lot of detail, a lot of truth that comes out and people have time to process. And I've done it over 3 days. That's intense. It needs real support, which I gave 30 days of support afterwards to allow people to reach out, discover, regurgitate, breakthroughs. And this is what tends to happen. And we're talking highly skilled people far beyond my skill and understanding of skills, resources, religion, energy, all of that kind of stuff. I'm talking about really high level people that go through and then see the truth of themselves and then crumble and burn afterwards. Initially, they're like, oh, yeah, wow. And then they go to the realization, oh my God, that's all fucked up. How did I create all of that? How am I the problem? No, you're not the problem. Anyway, that's just a little bit of a side note about the people that I work with, just like you. And it's funny, I wrote this 12-month community And I think it's important because out of everyone that I've worked with over the years, what I've recognized is that it takes about 12 months for the things that they discover for it to truly embody. And some people do it quicker, but there's a lot to take it. You're talking about, for some people, 40 to 50 to 60 years of their life that has just been ripped out of their head and reassembled in a small space of time. And what they do is they get it all back, and then they're like, holy shit, now I have to embody this. How do I embody this? Well, this is part of what we're talking about tonight, because I too have been through this journey. I understand all of this. I understand a lot of trauma. I've been there. Anyone that hasn't seen part 1 and 2 that I did earlier today. Now I'm putting these recordings up on YouTube, so you'll be able to watch it in a full block. And I'm going to go over the 4 pillars of life as well, which will explain a lot of things. Now, the really interesting part of this is what I've really discovered is that, yes, self-doubt will come from when you were younger. Yeah, that's a given. Most of the beliefs are associated to when we're kids. What can also happen, so this is something that you need to understand, and you probably already understand, right? Magnetism is about positive and negative. That's magnetism. Take this on board for a second. If you're magnetically attracting people, then there is the balance is positive and negative. If you will, dark, light. If you will, good, evil. It's the balance, okay? Now, the reason why this is so interesting, and when you listen to part 2, you'll understand this. Before I lost all of my social media, 2 years ago today, before I lost all my social media, I was in such a place of power, certainty, authenticity, light. I was powering through. The world knew my vibration. And then I disappeared overnight from the cyber attack. Everything, years of work, everything on social media just disappeared. And I had the highest of high security. Why is this important to understand? Well, when I rebuilt, it took me 2 months to get 4 people into a program again. Looking as a nothing, I had to rebuild a whole audience from 7,000 to 0. 2 months, I had 4 high-ticket clients. Not low-ticket. I don't do low-ticket. High-ticket clients. I went out. I was operating from a place of fear and scarcity in my decisions of the offers that I was creating. Now, prior to that, this is something I really need to share. I was working with a very top-level marketer, multi-millionaire marketer. He was going through his own spiritual journey at the time when I was getting coached through him. Now, part of that was he instructed me that my methodology, teach speakers to tell their story. And I was trying to explain, but that's not what it's about. But you've been in the film and entertainment industry for 30 years. You've got the authority. And I was like, yeah, I can do it, but that's not what I do. Yeah, but Pete, that's what people want. Okay. All right. And I did it. And it worked. People got it. But it exhausted the shit out of me. Because people got profound results in themselves. And then I gave them all the tools to market. Trust me, I've done every single, besides paid advertising, I've done every single form of organic marketing that is out there. They all work. It's never about the strategy. It's never about the strategy. It's about what's going on inside of you. That's the key. And look, for me, the fastest way to build for me was doing presentations. I kid you not, presentations. Why? Because it demands authority. People are like, holy shit, how are you doing all of this? Well, would you believe? So this is the other thing. Again, if you haven't seen the previous episodes that I did earlier today, I used to, in my 20s, I used to teach professional actors in Sydney how to improvise, to connect to their heart, to be present, because the magic only happens in the present, and it's no different in life. Abundance is not created in the future, and abundance is not created in the past. It is created in the present. What was taking place throughout last year in 2023 was, and I explained on the previous video that my partner had left me on a month after I lost everything. Then she left. It was like, oh my God, this is heavy. Okay, got to deal with this. Scarcity, fear. How am I going to go through this? Calmed, settled, tried to ground, went forward, created. Did that container? Did another container of people? Got together with this lady again, who then I found out was, on Tinder for a few months. And anyway, that's another story. The whole aspect of that is I turned around at just over a year ago, and I said, I'm wanting a lifelong relationship. That's what I want. If you are going to come back again, my plan is to be married. That's it. And if you don't want a part of that, then you can say no, because I don't want anything else. That's me. She took 2 weeks while I was still moving with I had a new container of clients I was moving through, and this is after the rebuild, right? Lost everything, was not in my zone of genius, didn't do the story extraction, funny enough, was focusing on marketing. Teaching people marketing. Wasn't working in my zone of genius. And what happens when you're not working in your zone of genius is that you get exhausted because it's a push and an effort rather than a passion and an exhilaration of being there and showing up and being the most powerful version that you can be, with certainty, faith, trust, belief. It's all there when you're aligned. That's why I'm doing the event. Fearless, aligned, bold. Because I tell you what, there's a lot of very wealthy people out there that are very good with marketing, that will sell you on the things that you believe that you need because that's what you want. But then to get what you need to put another 10, 15, 20, 40, 50,000 on top to get what it is that you actually need, which then cripples some people. And the reason why it cripples them, because that's not what they were expecting. So their expectations, just like a relationship that isn't truthful, is a lie. And all of a sudden, people are like, oh, they feel dirty. They're like, what do you mean? But you said I would get it with this. Oh, yeah, you can if you just do those steps, but I don't understand. Oh, that's because you need this. Oh, why did you say that? I am. This is why I only work with small groups of people that are very high level in the aspect. Like I work with people that have done a lot of personal development in that respect, because what I take people through is a lot more self-connection, connection to heart, connection to soul, really understanding your own personal journey so you can be in the most thriving aspect and the highest vibration that you and frequency that you can possibly be in, so you can take strides in the very fabric and the vision. Do you know how many people have not got a 10-year vision? I'm going to ask you, do you have a 10-year vision? Do you have a 10-year vision? Now, the second question is, have you got a 10-year vision that you've actually allowed your heart to speak? Or have you created a 10-year vision by you thinking about it? I want you to ask yourself that. Yes or no? Just ask yourself. When I was doing my 10-year vision, was I connected to my heart and soul? Or was I thinking with my head? Because when you think with your head, everything stays safe, comfortable, logical. Hard to reach for the stars when you're logical. Because when they said that they were going to go to the moon in the 60s, Kenny was like, right, we're going to the... And everyone said, nah, you can't. Bullshit. Find me every reason why I can. Now look at what they're doing. Elon Musk's SpaceX flies up, and then it comes back and he catches the rocket again. Woohoo! Freak of nature. And everyone was like, oh my God. That's like 50 million compared to $500 million to get a rocket up into whatever it may be. I don't know the figures, so I'm just pulling numbers. But I think Elon Musk is 50 million for a launch or something. I could be wrong, I'm not sure. Someone can comment on that. So in December, a year ago, coming up to Christmas, we had cyclones and the worst flood in 100 years. Put a dampener on things. Had to go and rescue my partner, bring her over in my house. And then had Christmas. So every year we were having Christmas with my family, my neighbors. Every single year, I would invite her family and her children, and they would come to my place with my family, my kids, my mum and dad, my neighbors, everything like that. Very festive, Polish, you see, Polish. So Polish celebrate Christmas Eve. We party in the night. Give out, Santa comes, presents come. We all have fun. Stay up till midnight, 1 a.m. Kids go crazy, and we just have a good time. And now that I'm divorced, it works really well because my partner is Australian. Well, she's got European background. She's, Russian background, but and English background, but Australian. So they do Christmas Day. So it's really easy. Kids, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. You have it. There we go. So if anyone's going through that co-parenting thing, maybe take that on board as an idea and a concept and go into a little bit of tradition, European tradition, and utilize that in your negotiations of what's possible and just experiment. Remember, life is about being creative and experimenting and being curious about how things will turn out. So we had that Christmas, and then my partner left me on New Year's Eve. And this time it really hurt. We'd only been back together for like 3 months. And there was a circumstance where she kicked me out of her house because her friend thought that I was a stalker and lied to her 3 years ago about me turning up and watching them at a party for an hour. Actually, it was her birthday, and I had the kids, and I asked mum and dad if they could watch the kids. I'm going to go and surprise Belinda, and went there and was there for 5 minutes, saw them all sitting at the back, went and grabbed a beer, sat at the table. They all came inside, and I went, surprise! And everyone ignored me like I was a freak. And I was like, okay, that's really weird. Anyway, that was a long time ago, irrelevant. But part of the journey, Like, this is what I'm really trying to share. When you are disconnected from your heart and you start questioning your intuition, you start losing trust in yourself. And this is exactly what high achieving people do. This is what visionaries go through. This is where they start self-doubting themselves because they're not surrounded by people that see their brilliance and hold them up on a pedestal, no matter the darkness, no matter the light. The balance is dark and light. You are dark and light, no matter what. Magnetism is positive and negative. You are dark and light. You are beauty all over. It's like the 4 pillars of life that you see here. You see a triangle in the middle here. That is the strength, if you will. The outer circle here, well, that is love, because love is all-encompassing. I'll go into this a little later, but if people are wondering why, and I know it's back to front, anyone watching, I know it's back to front. Just to be clear, iPhone, there's no magic wand on here. I've searched for weeks. Research, it's not there. Can't flip the screen. For God's sake, biggest, one of the biggest techno giants in the world, and it's not there? Are you for real? Come on. Oh well, just go with the flow. But when I have this as the recording, flip, it's very easy. So that was a year ago. I was so hurt at that point. I was so crumbled that, and I was running a container of people. And I hurt so much that they ran down to the end of their time, and I shut everything down. I shut my business down. I was emotionally, physically, mentally exhausted, hurt, and damaged. And I didn't know what to do. And I surrounded myself with some fantastic healers. And I spent the last 18 months, to tell you the truth, around a lot of energy people. I'm very good friends with one of the most insane leaders in the world, who has spent 25 years in the personal development industry, going so deep into energetics, to every form of personal development. And he truly is a master at what he does. I learned part of his system, and it's extraordinary in that respect. I was on a hunt of understanding what is going on with me, because I thought there was something wrong with me. And the reason why I was thinking that something was wrong with me was because I was getting told there's something wrong with me. Now, I don't know if anyone is actually feeling this, and maybe you are, or maybe you're not. Maybe you're in the right circle of people, maybe you're not. But these are the questions you need to ask yourself, because if you're not in the right circle of people, if you're in something that is lower than what your capacity is, you'll shrink your capacity to suit the people around you. I'm pausing for you to just take that in. And the most powerful one is the one that holds your heart. Whether you're a man or a woman, the most important factor is that we're in a very transitioning world right now. It's 2025. There's a lot of fear. Change of governments happened over in the US. The world is watching Trump. What's he going to do? I think it's freaking brilliant. Not part of the system. Someone left field, independent, away from so much corruption. And I don't give a shit who you like. If we looked at the history of the world, the government has always been corrupt. Do not tell me that they have our best interests at heart. So that's another subject. I'm not going to go into it, but I can tell you we are at an extraordinary place where there has been division. Since COVID, there's been division. There's been hatred. There's been pain. There's been people dying. There's all of this going on. And all of a sudden, 5 years later, comes out, oh yeah, it was true. Yeah, it did come from Wuhan. Oh, yeah, yeah, Trump was right. Yeah, just we won't talk about that. It's really interesting. Maybe something will happen to my feed tonight. Why am I talking about all of this? It's because I want you to really understand where I am at and what I do, and I'm not a marketer. I know marketing extremely well. I don't deal with the $50, $100, $1,000, whatever you want to call it. I'm a high ticket person because I do high ticket work. I only take in a small container because what I do is very, very personal. It's very deep, and it's life-changing in that respect. And I've life-changed. I've had to. So last year, when I started rebuilding, surrounding myself with some incredible people and mentors and healing my heart, I started to go on a journey. And don't get me wrong, I started getting clients again. I opened my business and I was getting clients and I was teaching marketing. I was going a little bit deeper. Use your story. Here's this. But I wasn't truly owning my brilliance. Because again, I thought there was something wrong with me. That's not what my clients say, by the way. But I thought there was something wrong with me. Anyway, we got back into this relationship again, give it another crack, right? I guess that's part of my nature. I am a born optimist. I see the greatness in everybody. No matter, I believe everyone needs a chance. And I am not a quitter. I never have been. I will keep going. So the thing I was talking about, introverts, why I laugh is because I'm an introvert. Hi, how you doing? What do you mean? You were in the film and entertainment industry. Yeah, most of us are introverts. Didn't you know? Most of the greatest speakers in the world are introverts. Why? Because we have a great capacity of self-awareness and being able to be very detailed in what it is that we see, so we can then understand it, and then we can teach it, and then we can share it. And that's why introverts are some of the most powerful leaders in the world, because they are very self-aware in everything that they do, because it's a protective mechanism in that respect, right? Look, I like I said in the other videos, I was bullied for so much of my life, sexual assault, all of that, beaten up, blah, blah, blah. Right, I had to deal with a lot of trauma when I was young. I was a shell of a kid, all of that kind of stuff, right? Never tried at school. I believed I was dumb because that's what I was told almost every single day. You're so dumb, you're so fat, you're so ugly, no one likes you, everybody hates you, right? You imagine that every single day as a child, that you're getting told every single day, nobody loves you, everybody hates you, you're so fat, you're so dumb. You'll never be anything, just go and kill yourself. Just imagine that every day. And then when you go and do something wrong, like a red comment, because I was in a very strict school, you get a red comment and then I will get the belt, right? Chased like a rabbit or a walrus or a pig, whatever you want to call it, around the room, held down, belt, belt, belt. Shake, 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 run, 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 cry, 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 caught, 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 whack, whack, whack. Ah, shit. Hated it. I love the experience and understand the experience now, totally. I actually recalled a memory, this is about a year ago. Well, I was going through this massive transition of understanding the journey and what was going on with me, and deeper communication, deeper understanding about energy, deeper understanding about magnetism. I've been working with Chris Duncan, who teaches the magnetic mind, right? He's a powerful man. And I actually got involved with it as part of the relationship to do something together. didn't do it, did we? So, but that's the thing. I don't quit. I don't give up on anything or anyone, even my sister. You know, people might have heard some of the stories earlier. Look, I do speak to my sister. I know I've brought her up a couple of times and I know a couple of people have seen the videos. And there was a question asking, you know, that's horrible. Yeah, please don't feel sorry for me. Like anyone, don't feel sorry for me. I'm fine. I'm really good. I love the journey that I've been on, because if I hadn't been in the journey, I wouldn't be who I am today. And I'm a very powerful being. And the only reason why I have been, if you will, I think the best word for it is distracted. I've been distracted from what I was doing 2 years ago to where I am now. And that distraction is happening no longer because a massive realization took place in the whole aspect and the understanding of what it is that I do and why it's so important and why I was being distracted in not implementing it. And it's not my fear. I was around the wrong people that didn't truly understand who I was or didn't accept who I was and didn't want me to be any bigger than them. And that can be hard sometimes. That can be a confrontation. Confrontation for everyone. You know, if you're with someone who is scared that if they move ahead, that it's abandonment, right? And then if you're in that space, if someone's feeling abandoned or feeling the fear of abandonment, right? Feeling the fear of abandonment, same kind of thing. The imagination is more powerful than the mind, right? Doesn't know the difference between vision or pretend. This is why actors have to be trained so well, because their imagination can take over their body and their soul and their mind and their heart. And it happens. And some of them become alcoholics and druggies. And it's true, because they lose themselves because they're not taught enough about themselves. And this is really important. It's such an important element. And this goes for every single human being. The only reason why you ever feel stuck is because there's something inside you that you haven't understood, or you haven't forgiven, you haven't healed, you haven't acknowledged, you haven't accepted. Period. Any psychologist will tell you the same thing. Any healer will tell you the same thing. What do healers do? What do psychologists do? What do counselors do? They unravel the layers of your own perception, of your own stories. The only thing that they don't do is they keep everything as independent scenarios, and it's not. This is where they fuck it up. This is where it leaves people confused. This is why people hit their head against the concrete wall, barrier, thinking there's something wrong with me, something wrong with me, something wrong with me. I don't get it. I'm doing all this personal development. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars learning from the best people, and I'm still feel stuck. What? Shit doesn't work. No, it's not that at all. It's that most people aren't trained to see the patterns and the connection between the heart and the mind, because everything is connected. Everything in your life after the age of 10, you created. And when you go through the story extraction, you'll see it. And when you do, your heart opens and your logical mind shudders, because it all makes sense. And you go, oh man. But then you see the truth. And the truth is Sometimes the truth is hard to take. And that's where people go, oh my God. That's what I do. The embodiment of your next level identity. Because any marketing works. Trust me, I know. I've done it over and over and over and over again over the last 5 years. But I've been on a completely different journey. You know, I see people that started at the same time and they're multimillionaires. They're way ahead. But I've been on a different journey. I've gone into a depth of understanding communication on a superior level of heart coherence and emotional mastery. And I've been pushed and challenged to go as far, as deep as I possibly can to hold space. And it's been an eye-opener for me. So I've been working on this community because what I believe is that, yes, I can give breakthroughs in people in an hour. I've done it. People see it. People have experienced it. You can look at some of my testimonials. I never gloat about my experience. I never gloat about other people's breakthroughs. I never talk about it, ever. But what I have is so fucking powerful that it's a crime for me to not express it. It's just like you. You're golden. You're incredible at what you do. And you need to tell people how good you are. And you need to go out and allow other people to speak about you, but don't hide away from it. Because hiding away from it, this is the thing. I'm going to share this. This is one of the key things that I've witnessed. Not just in myself, but in others too, that holds them back. People go through an element of feeling unseen, and then you're going to go, there's this limiting belief about being unseen. It comes from childhood, and you didn't get what your parents wanted to give you, and there was this lack of love, and the inner child is sitting in the corner going, I'm also sore. Yes, there's an avenue of that. But what I was saying about magnetism is the lesson I had to learn. Magnetism is positive and negative. There is evil and there is good in the world. And whenever there's a powerful beam of light, there's an equal opposite opposing force to challenge it. I really want you to take that on board for a second. I really do. Suck this up for a second. There's kind of people there. I don't know. No one's willing to say hello, so I don't know who's there. So if you do say hello, I'll see it. And like I said, all these recordings from today are going to go on YouTube. I might not get to the training on this. I might just do that as a separate training because this is pretty involved. This will give you the basis. If you stuck to this in every day of your life and implemented this powerful dynamic, you will notice when things are out of whack. You'll notice your energy being shifted. You'll notice your emotions. This is a powerful, powerful understanding. It's something that we go through the program. It's something that all my clients understand. It's a powerful tool. Same with the corridor of life. Simple, powerful. As I was saying, you are possibly an introvert, high achiever, probably already successful. Most people that I work with are very successful. They're not looking for more success. They're looking for more understanding. They're looking for why are things still being difficult. I can't make sense of these things. I've done all of this stuff. And like I said, most people don't teach the coherence and the understand of the coherence of the mind and the heart and the soul, and how it's all connected, and the patterns associated to that, and the vibration that you've created. Everything is a ripple. Your words are a ripple. If you are confronted with something in your day and you speak bad about someone, what's the ripple effect that you're putting out into the world? What is the vibration? Really think about this for a second. The news, people that watch the news every day have an element of fear in their lives. So subconsciously there's this element of fear. There's something always going wrong every day. You know, someone's dying, someone's this, it's terrible. Far out. I haven't watched the news in years. I'm not interested. People will tell me, like, if I need to hear about something, like that there's an emergency or something, someone will tell me. I don't care. Everyone else is worried about the fear basis. I'm like, I'm just focused here. Just here, my environment, my the people that I care about, just now. Like, I'm not worried about the future. Just be. Breathe. This is a very interesting aspect. So I've been doing embodied I Ching, and I've done it a couple of years ago, and I've just redone it again as a practitioner, and which is all about, it's a combination of Eastern arts and philosophies of, Tai Chi, Qi Gong, I Ching, Nei Gong. It's simply powerful. So where do we come to now? Now, we're sitting on a verge of a new dynamic. And funny enough, I called this initially the Soul Catalyst Collective. I was calling it, and inspiring millions is where I began. And it will stay. Because when you become visible and you start living in the truest essence, the truest form of who you are, the most powerful version of yourself, you create a vibration and a magnetism that creates abundance for you without the push and the slug and the pour and the ohs and the woes and the, oh, I've got to do this and do that, and the, oh, I'm frustrated and oh, I'm exhausted. No. It doesn't matter about the pressure that might be around you. You stay calm. This is why the greatest athletes in the world have extremely good coaches, because they've learnt the skill of being calm under pressure. No matter the pressure, they can lower their heart rate and focus. And it's no different to business. It's no different to your practice as a person. This is a big one today, right? I really need to share all of this. I only had 2.5 hours sleep, and I don't know if I need to go into why I had 2.5 hours sleep. But anyway, let me just share that I went to Bali I had a great year last year. It was really starting to thrive. And then I went to Bali, took my kids, took my partner, had a really great month beforehand. Bali, things shifted. And then all of a sudden, I got sick, got a virus. 2 days before I left, I got a massive fever. And when I got back home to Australia, I couldn't get out of bed for almost a month. Infectious diseases took 3 weeks to get back to me about all of my blood results. I was in and out of hospital. And they went, oh, so you've had a blood virus, you've had COVID and dengue fever, all within a week on top of each other. So if I wasn't fit and healthy, I'll tell you what, I'd be worried about that experience, because it smashed the shit out of me to the point where I thought, I wasn't going to make it. A lot of people ask me, have I got support and everything like that around me? Honestly, no, I didn't. When we got back from Bali, my partner decided that because my ex-wife went around my house to see my kids, she was going to flip out, and then told me that I'm still in love with my ex-wife. And I was like, what? And then she left me again. It's like, what? So for 4 weeks, I was pretty much by myself. My kids were I didn't see them for almost a month. We're talking 3 months ago. Okay. And this is my point about not being seen. So one of the elements of dengue fever is down below subconsciously is that you're not being seen. So this is a conversation that I've been bringing up for 3 years. I don't feel like you're hearing me. I don't feel like you're seeing me. I'm sharing and being really open and honest, but I don't feel like you're actually hearing me, right? Empathy, compassion, all of that kind of stuff. It affects every part of your world. Trust me. It's a dynamic. And if you are in that dynamic, then you have to make a decision. Very courageous decision, just like I did, where I was like, nah, sorry, nah. It's just not right. I'm sorry. That's fucked. It's not cool. I laugh now because I have full gratitude for the relationship and the experience that I've needed to experience. The realization of the things that I am really good at, that I'm a world leader in that respect. I'm a master at what I do. No one compares to that. And I'd forgotten all about that because I kept getting told that there was something wrong with me, and I was like, well, I don't know. So this is the important thing. For the last 18 months, I have non-stop had coaches. 2 years, last 2 years, non-stop. I've actually had coaches all the time. But especially the last 2 years, I've had multiple coaches doing multiple things at the same time because I understand the importance of elevating quickly and understanding deeper things and having people see your blind spots, see your shadows. And trust me, sometimes you don't want to believe them because you love someone. It couldn't be true. And when you're unseen, slowly, you shut down part of your heart, which lowers your vibration and your frequency. This program, this one here, this is all about magnetism, confidence, limitless abundance, relationships, because it's all one. It's all connected. Energy, existence, expression, evolution. It's the 4 pillars of life. If you don't have this, you're either working or operating by a place of fear and scarcity, which you then be working in hustle mode, which is fear and scarcity. Or you're in scarcity completely. You're not doing anything and there's no action because abundance only happens with action that doesn't have resistance. And when you're aligned, you don't have resistance. When you're not aligned, there's resistance. And that's why people go, I don't feel aligned. I don't feel like I'm connected to my heart. I don't feel like I feel like I'm overthinking everything. I feel like I'm in my head too much. And then you start procrastinating, and then people will tell you, well, you're procrastinating because you haven't dealt with your childhood trauma. Yeah, it's partly true. Yes. But there's a dynamic to it. And unless you see the patterns where they're all through what needs to be healed, what needs to be forgiven, what needs to be awakened, what needs to be accepted and acknowledged throughout your journey, then you truly don't understand what the cause is in the evolution of you. Because evolution is about the soul. And unless you're actually allowing your soul to breathe, which is purely comes through living in the heart, because there's the connection, right? It's that gut-brain connection, right? You know, people talk about the gut-brain connection. Well, the heart is the resonance of that. It's right in the center of who? The gut and the brain. Oh, shit. There's another voice. There's another vibration. Absolutely there is. And the heart is 5,000 times more powerful than the mind's frequency. Let that sink in. This is why anything in the subconscious that hasn't been surrendered, that's all your memories, all your beliefs, you will have resistance. And as a high achiever that is looking for the utmost potential, to the utmost vibrancy, abundance, to save time in their lives, because what's important? Relationships and family. That's important. And if you're going around corners and wasting time and wondering what is going on, why am I banging my head against the wall? I need to move forward quickly because I have a lot of people to take care of. Then you've got to do whatever it takes to get there. I've really enjoyed all of this. I don't know about you, but I've really loved it. I'm going to post this soon. I'm going to be changing my audience. So if you are there, you might hear from me soon, because I'm going to let people know that this is the direction I'm going, this is who I am, and this is the offer. And if you're not interested, I'm going to take you out of my audience. If you're not interested in the topics that I speak of, I'm taking you out of my audience. And there's the reason for that, because I only want people that are action takers, that are ready. You can be ready in a year, it doesn't matter. But if you're interested and you're really thinking about, I need to make this shift, I need to start learning, I need to start really preparing myself to connect to my own heart and forgive and do everything else, then I'm here for you. Because the only way that you're going to grow your empire is by having unstoppable confidence that is completely aligned to the very fabric of who you are and your soul's vision. That's the powerful stuff. So, this is beautiful, isn't it? Really, really exciting. So, the Soul Collective, I am starting another podcast, and it's called, working title, A Changed Story. High achievers breaking through limitless possibilities by redesigning their stories. I've seen it time and time again. My clients speak for themselves. Sending all my love. I hope, well, maybe someone might see this. If it does, allow that to be the person that needs to hear this today. To make a bold and beautiful decision in their own confidence. And look, don't get me wrong. I know some really intelligent people out there. There's some really, really incredible, spiritual, intelligent people. Some of them haven't been through as much trauma. When there's trauma involved in a human being, it's a different dynamic in the aspect of how you navigate through things, because there's pent-up energy from the past that needs to be released, right? And that's the hardest thing for people to actually understand. That sometimes it takes longer for others because there's a lot of darkness, a lot of heaviness, and it can't just be shifted in one day, 2 days, 3 days. Sometimes it can take 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months just to come to terms with it, to allow the body to process the blocked energy. Yeah. That's why a year container is such a powerful aspect. Change your life. I certainly have been changing mine. And I work with some pretty high caliber people to keep me in line, to be the greatest version of myself for you and what you need to bring to the world so you can be that light. Trust me, if you're a light bearer, then you need to stand up and be the light bearer, the very aspect of who you are. There's so much more I could talk about, and so much more. But if you're building this aspect, if you're a visionary leader that is procrastinating, self-doubt, not being visible because you think you got introvert-itis, get over it. It's bullshit, fake story. I know because I'm an introvert. Sending all my love. I hope this resonates with you. You'll be hearing from me very soon. Take care.